Hello and welcome to the Meet the Parents podcast.
Hello and welcome to episode 37 of the Meet the Parents podcast. I'm Tim from Slouching Towards Thatcham, and, as you might have guessed from our subtly altered intro music, for our final podcast of 2016, we're bringing you our bumper Christmas edition, featuring, for the first time, the entire team. We've borrowed Santa's sleigh, and we're going to zoom up and down the country, catching up with the team. There's lots to cram into a short space of time, so let's just launch straight in, shall we? First up on Santa's delivery schedule is a stop-off in the leafy shires to visit Dave, the dadventurer. Good evening, Dave.
Ho, 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 Tim.
And season's greetings to you as well. Now, a little secret for our listeners, it's actually still November just as we record this segment. So are you in the festive spirit yet?
Getting there. We went to Lapland, UK, and also a Christmas event at Drayton Manor the other weekend, so that sort of started to get us into the festive spirit end of November rather than early December, which is definitely a new thing for me, but it started to help spread the festive cheer already.
And did toddler Elle enjoy both of those?
Yeah, she did. Yeah, it was two really good experiences, like, meeting the very different Santas, if I can say that, and the lights and decorations and everything that comes with it. So, yeah, I think she had fun, even though she doesn't fully understand the concept yet. She knows what a present is and knows that a present is mainly hers.
Excellent. It's all downhill from here. So when does Christmas really begin in the Hornby household? So, when does the tree go up and stuff like that?
We usually aim for the start of December, so chances are we'll probably wait to the weekend and do it on a Saturday or something like that. But since having toddler Elle, we'd sort of come up with a few traditions, of which one of them would be trying to put the tree up on the 1st of December and starting Christmas throughout all of December.
It always amazes me how early some people put up trees and Christmas decorations. I don't know if it's the same with you, but round by us, I know last weekend, so that's, we're talking about the 25th or 26th, I think, of November. There were already people putting up their Christmas lights outdoors. So Christmas seems to start earlier and earlier every year.
It does. I think my brother and his boyfriend put theirs up sort of proper mid-November. I was disgusted with that, Tim. Disgusted.
It'll be Easter in their household before they know it.
Very true.
So this will be toddler Elle's third Christmas in all, won't it? So she was one and a bit last time around, wasn't she? So what did she make of it all last year, and is it any different this year?
Last year was very much sort of being in the house, enjoying the snow when it came, opening presents, that type of thing. So I think she got out of it something, but it was very much on it wasn't particularly a deep level. I think this year she's more excited. She understands who Father Christmas is, and from a Peppa Pig episode that we seem to have watched repeatedly, she knows that he comes on the roof. So she'll sort of say, Father Christmas, roof type thing.
So she hasn't started singing any Christmas songs yet, or demanding that she watches any Christmas films?
No, we've not got there yet. We've started watching the Gruffalo a fair bit, but that's sort of winter-esque, but it's not really Christmassy as such, is it? But I think there'll be a few things on TV we'll try and watch, whether it's the Father Christmas movie from sort of back when I was a kid, or was that even earlier than that? The cartoon one where he goes on his holidays.
So what are your plans for the holidays then?
So this year, the past few years, my brother's come over and he's had Christmas Day with us, but he's not doing that this year. So it'll be me, Hayley and Elle, which will be our first Christmas as a three. So I think on the day, it'll sort of be a get up, open presents. I'll probably spend 3 hours building all of the stuff that she's got, cooking Christmas dinner. And then we tend to go out for a walk in the woods nearby, which has become another sort of Christmas tradition that we do. So that'll be about it on Christmas Day, and then on Boxing Day, I think we're heading up to my folks' house. So we'll have a couple of days there, and then my brother and his boyfriend will come across as well. So we'll have like a bit of a family thing, and then we'll go over to Haley's, a couple of days there, and then head back in time for New Year's. So on the whole, a fair bit of travelling up north and things, but good to try and fit everybody in, really, isn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you mentioned Christmas dinner just now. So what will be on the table for Christmas dinner?
Well, it's a glorified Sunday dinner, to be honest, isn't it? I think we'll be probably on the chicken rather than a turkey, just because there'll be three of us. So that'll just be the same as a Sunday dinner. And then there'll be pigs in blanket, which are probably the only addition to your otherwise standard Sunday dinner. And then probably have soup to start, and then some type of chocolate dessert, I'd imagine.
And when do the presents get opened?
That's in the morning on Christmas Day. So I think I'm trying to remember back to last year now. I've read a fair bit about like people doing boxes for Christmas Eve and stuff like that, but I don't think we've ever done. I've personally never done anything like that as a kid, and I'm pretty sure we didn't do that with Elle last year. So for us, sort of Christmas Day is the opening of the. We'll get up, go downstairs, and then open them. Then I'd imagine. Yeah,
I know for us, Christmas with three early risers in the household, Christmas morning starts at about 5 o'clock typically for us, with a constant refrain of, "Can we open our presents yet?"
Yeah, I'd imagine this is probably the last year we'll have when we don't have that, because she'll be 3.5 next year, and I think she'll be a lot more clued on to what will be happening and what it means for her.
Yeah, the unwrapping of presents starts probably at about 6 o'clock, once everyone's finally managed to drag themselves out of bed, which means, of course, that all the presents are opened by round about 6:03. With Elle growing older every year, and each year at this stage in her life being a significant step on from before, I guess Christmas must feel very different as a family now than it did pre-kids, or even compared to last year. Now, is there anything that you do that's significantly different now that you have Elle as part of Christmas?
I don't think there really is, to be honest. Me and Hayley have lived together in our own house for sort of 6 years now, and I think for the past 4 or 5 we've always had Christmas as us two. So the addition of Elle is still just us in our house. As I mentioned before, my brother's been around the past couple of Christmases and he's not going to be here this year, but on the whole it's very much the same. Obviously what we do and how we do it probably changes a little bit. I don't think there's anything that really changes, to be fair.
Okay, so I guess looking ahead now to this Christmas, what's the one thing that you're looking forward to most about Christmas? And conversely, what's the one thing that you're looking forward to least?
It's probably the same point, and that's around travel and family. So it's obviously good to hang out with family. We don't get to see either sets of parents that often. So that would be good to go to theirs and almost like go back to being kids a little bit. That we'll be at my mum and dad's house and they'll be doing, Christmas dinner on Boxing Day, that type of thing. But in order to get there, that's a 3.5 hour journey if traffic's all right. And then going across to Haley's is another hour on that, and then a 4-hour journey back. So it's sort of like a necessary evil that in order to spend time together, we've got to spend a hell of a lot of time in a car.
Yeah, that's familiar. We used to end up doing a lot of driving at Christmases as well. And one of the advantages, at least, of having 3 kids is that now instead of us going to everyone tends to come to us, which is quite nice. So finally, what are you hoping that Santa will bring you for Christmas?
Is there such a thing as Bernard's magic watch, where you can just pause time so you can get everything done? I think that'd be quite cool. On a serious note, I don't really know. I've got most stuff I want. Recently got an Xbox, so I've got that, something to play games on. This is a really boring answer. I can't think of anything that I want. Let's go with like a sports car or something like that. But obviously that's not going to happen, is it?
Oh, it depends how much pocket money you've been giving Elle, doesn't it?
and how much pocket money the missus has been giving me as well.
Yeah. You are that archetypal person, aren't you, who's impossible to buy for because you've got everything already.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. And I'm not somebody who really wants loads of stuff anyway. So Hayley always complains that I'm pretty difficult to buy for, but she does a good job at finding something.
Now, you see, the rule in our household is that I'm not allowed to buy anything for myself after the 1st of November, so that at least there is an opportunity for people to buy things that I want.
Ah, I like it.
And then obviously all that happens after Christmas is that I go out and buy everything that everyone else hasn't bought me anyway. Well, thanks very much, Dave, and have a Merry Christmas, and here's hoping that Santa has you on his nice rather than his naughty list.
Fingers crossed.
Our next port of call was going to be the Three Wise Men, but sadly they weren't available. Something about being too busy preparing for a long road trip. So instead, I'm going to say hello to our 3 podcast angels. Amy from Finding Our Feet, Hannah from Budding Smiles, and Vicky from Verily Victoria Vocalisers. Good evening, ladies.
Hello. I'm really grateful you called us the 3 angels. I thought the 3 witches was coming.
I'll save that for later. So it's actually December the 5th as we record this. So how far along with Christmas preparations are we all? Is the Christmas tree up yet? Christmas cards written and posted? Amy?
Tree is up. We put ours up on Saturday, which was the 3rd, I think. But no Christmas cards. We don't really do Christmas cards because we're a bit funny about the whole trees being thing. We have a fake tree as well. So yeah, we ask people not to send us Christmas cards and we don't send them. It's a bit grinchy, but never mind.
Hannah, how about you?
Well, the tree is up. It's not decorated, but it's up. Toby just keeps going, Christmas tree. So he seems perfectly happy with it how it is. So, but we will be decorating it hopefully this weekend. We're a bit like Amy. We don't really do Christmas cards particularly. So I know we'll get some, and I'll have to send one to like my nan and a few people. But generally speaking, we don't really do them.
Vicky, how about you?
Well, I actually did most of my Christmas shopping, wrapped it all and everything in October, purely because of our trip to Spain. And then our tree goes up 2 weeks before Christmas. I just think anything before that's a bit soon. And then we write Christmas cards really to close friends and family, and that's about it.
It's interesting. We always put ours up around the 14th as well when I was a kid, because we had a real one, so it wouldn't have lasted otherwise. Yeah. But because we have a fake one, we put ours up earlier.
Amy and Hannah, Little Miss and Toby will both be 2 years old and change this Christmas. So how much are they looking forward to Christmas, and how much of a grasp have they got this year about what Christmas is about?
Yeah, I think Little Miss has grasped it. She definitely knows who Santa is. She definitely knows what's going on, and she's just like, what do you want from Father Christmas, Little Miss? A cat. Bugger. Bugger.
I'm quite lucky we haven't quite hit that stage yet.
Little Miss is nearly 3, so yeah, I think she's a little bit older than Toby, isn't she?
Yes, Toby's not 2.5 until January, so he's really excited about all of the lights, and he keeps singing Jingle Bells literally like having a record on repeat. Bless him, it's so cute. But he's kind of like, when he saw the Christmas tree, he said, "Mummy, where are the presents?" So he kind of gets that side of things, but he's not really at the age to ask for stuff yet. So I'm making the most of it whilst I've got this final year.
Oh yeah. Other than a cat, is there anything else that Little Miss has requested?
Ballet is the big thing right now. So we took her for a taster ballet lesson a couple of weeks ago to check she would enjoy it. And so she's getting ballet lessons and her ballet outfit for Christmas. And I think she'll be really dead chuffed with that. She's quite into witches, which is a bit weird. I think it's kind of after Halloween, and then also to do with the ballet, because we've watched the Sleeping Beauty ballet and Swan Lake, and obviously there's kind of witchy figures in that, and she seems very intrigued by them. So I think actually if we gave her a black ballet outfit, she'd probably be happier, because then she'd look like the witches, but I think we're going to go for the pale pink. I think the ballet teacher might think we're a bit weird if we turn up with our child dressed all in black.
That would be an odd combination, wouldn't it? Vicky, Grace obviously is a bit older. Is she looking forward to Christmas, and is there anything in particular that she's requested from Santa?
Actually, yes, she is. And it's interesting to see how it changes as she's got older. This year, instead of a chocolate advent calendar, it's been a makeup one, which she absolutely loves. She's thrilled to bits with it. In actual fact, this year, she hasn't gone all out in asking for loads of things, which we're quite surprised with. She's asked for a journal and she's asked for a set of Dork Diary books. And that's really the main things on her list. But the thing is, her birthday is the 2nd of January. So she's like, a week later and she's got more stuff coming. So her main present we're going to save till her birthday. And she's got lots of bits and pieces for Christmas. But yeah, she's really looking forward to it. She loves it.
Do you do anything in particular to ensure that Grace's birthday is kept distinctly separate from Christmas so the two don't overlap?
Oh, yeah, totally. I mean, I always make sure the tree comes down on New Year's Day. So there's no tree or decorations or anything on the 2nd. And then we also always make sure that everybody's aware that when I send them a Christmas list, I will say, look, this is birthday as well. So if there's things left on there, then you can get them for a birthday. But I've always made it specific that I want to keep it separate. It's not fair otherwise.
The other half here is the 1st, and he's always struggled as well. He finds it quite frustrating.
Yeah, I can imagine he does. I mean, I just feel for anyone whose birthday is actually Christmas Day, because then you can't separate it. At least if it's a different day, you can.
Yeah, and speaking of presents, Hannah, are you selling anything in particular on Apples and Pips that you would recommend for any parents who are scratching their heads for last-minute gifts?
Yeah, we've got some lovely things actually. So if it's baby's first Christmas, as obviously it is for Martha, we've got like little snowman and snow dog booties, which are just adorable. And I've sent a few of those out to people for stocking fillers, and things like baby sock Christmas cupcakes and things like that, which are just really cute. And then we've got stuff for parents as well, like personalised jewellery and cufflinks, a gratitude journal, which I actually think is something that not just all parents but all adults should have, and it's called 100 Days of Gratitude. And basically each day you write something that you're grateful for, what your sort of mantra is going to be for the day, 3 people that you want to thank, and it's just so lovely because it puts you in such a positive mindset. So that's one that I'm like, everybody needs that on their Christmas list.
Sounds lovely. I might look into that.
It is. I've got one and I just love it because even when you're having a really bad day, it just encourages you to find something positive in the day.
Yeah, that sounds really good. What a great idea.
Oh, there you go. That's one sale already. You can pop my commission in the post. As far as the Christmas holidays themselves, how long are we all spending as a family this Christmas? I mean, Amy, when do you and the other half stop for work, and have you got an extended break?
It's actually all just changed. So we're going. Originally, we were both working up until the Friday because the Christmas Eve is the Saturday this year, and then we go skiing with his parents, his brother, and his sister on Boxing Day, and we come back on the 1st, and then obviously back in work on the 3rd. But things have changed a bit at work for me, and basically I'm now finishing on the 21st, which is rather nice. And so I'll get a couple of extra days off with little miss, and I think we're therefore going to drive down and see his extended family in Gloucestershire because his grandma's like 104, and he very sadly lost his aunt, her daughter, this year, so his cousins and stuff were all there. So we thought that would be really nice to go and see them and spend some time there for a day, because he has a ridiculous amount of holiday and he hasn't used it yet, so I'm kind of forcing him to use a day.
Hannah, how about you? Have you got plans for Christmas and New Year?
Yeah, Phil finishes work on the 23rd, and that evening we're off out for our annual Christmas meal with a load of friends. And it kind of started off that it was me and some of my friends that I went to school and college with, and we're all really, really close. And then as we've all obviously gotten partners and got married and everything, we've just sort of got the men along as well. So now it's a big Christmas get together every year. So we're going to do that. Phil's off for the week in between Christmas and New Year, and so we'll spend Christmas Day afternoon and Boxing Day morning with my family, and then we'll probably see his parents on either Christmas Eve or Boxing Day. And just sort of, we're trying not to plan too much in, because I think with the kids being as little as they are, sometimes it can get a bit much, and if you over plan it, it just ends up being a bit disastrous with lots of long car journeys and the such.
And Vicky, when does Grace finish school?
She finishes on the 16th of December, so she's got a whole week in the lead up to Christmas itself. She'll be going to her father's for a couple of days over that weekend. And then when she comes back, we've got a week, just 3 of us together for up until Christmas Eve, when we'll go to Ross's parents. And they've got a house which overlooks Chesil Beach in Portland. So it's beautiful there. We love it. And we'll be going there for a few days and just spending time together, playing card games and silly things and eating lots. So, yeah.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah, so Ross has been working really hard as well. So thankfully, I mean, this week he's away on business, and thankfully it's starting to slow down a bit for him.
How does Grace find having to split her time, Vicky?
She's not too bad with it. She does find it difficult, but she doesn't like travelling all over the place, because she's there for a couple of days first weekend when she breaks up, and then she's got to go to her father's the day after Boxing Day for a few nights before she comes back for New Year. So, but she just accepts it. It's just part of her life, It has been for since she was small. So, and things sort of changed around a bit when a contact order was put in place last year, but not by much. So she's fine. She knows what's what.
I was the same. That's why I ask.
Oh, really? You had the same situation?
Yeah, I was always left, right, and centre all over Christmas for the different family parties.
Yeah, it must be. I mean, it's hard. It's really hard. But I think it's, with her, it's what she knows and what she's known since she was small, very small. So, she's sort of used to it. There's times where she just doesn't want to leave home, though. And she's getting to an age, I think, where she just wants to be around her friends and just stay with her in her room, So I'm sure there'll come a time at some point where she'll just decide for herself what she wants to do.
Well, I'm certainly looking forward to a decent break over Christmas. I've been pretty much flat out for the past 4 months, so I finish on the 16th, and then I'm not back until the 3rd. And we haven't got that much planned, which is lovely still. So, yeah, we've got my folks coming for a couple of days over Christmas, and then New Year's Eve will see us getting together with some local fellow parents for the mother of all play dates, and that's just the adults. The kids will probably play a bit as well. So there'll be cocktails, and I've already threatened that we're all going to have to do a group version of my parody of Fairy Tale of New York. So that could be interesting. So yes, no, definitely looking forward to Christmas.
Sounds like a good plan. Actually, over New Year's Eve is Grace's birthday party. She's having it on New Year's Eve.
Oh, awesome!
So she's having a sleepover with 3 of her friends. So they're going to come and use our hot tub and have a barbecue. So hey,
amazing.
That sounds like one of the best birthday parties I would have asked for as when I turned 10.
Yeah.
Speaking of food, how do you guys all do Christmas dinner? Is it do you do the cooking? Is it the traditional turkey or something a bit more exotic?
If we were at home, I'd do the cooking. But because we're going to Ross's parents, it's his mum who usually does stuff. But I take things with me. So last year I made an alternative Christmas pudding using mascarpone and cream cheese and a whole load of fruits. And I froze it and covered it in chocolate. And it was a big hit. So I'm going to do that again this year. And then I take other things like bread sauce and a cake and things like that. So I don't feel like I've done nothing. I want to do some input into it and not feel like Ross's mum was left just doing everything,
Fun. Well, we're actually doing our very first ever Christmas on our own in our own home this year, which is really, really exciting for me, especially. I touched on it with Vicky just a minute ago, but for me, Christmas was a really small affair because I'm an only child. I have no cousins, so growing up, it was just the 3 of us, and then from my teenage years, it was just mum and I, or just my dad and I. So I find the other half's Christmas very daunting because I think one year there was 20 of us. Wow. And it's a big old affair. Like the whole family come and stay in one house, and it's all the cousins. Of course, we've all started having kids now, so it's a big, big day. I find that it's really good fun in its own way, but I'm really looking forward to showing him what my Christmas is kind of like now, because my mum's going to join us for Christmas lunch, because she only lives a 15-minute drive away. So yeah, we're going to have the morning on our own, and then she's coming over for the afternoon. And then we also have Fakemas the weekend before with my dad and his wife and her mum, which is kind of a family tradition of mine as well with divorced parents. Well, someone gets Fakemas every year and someone gets Christmas, and then you swap the following year. And then because we're going skiing with his parents, we won't see them Christmas Day this year. So yeah, we are cooking, to your original question, but knowing our family, it will be the other half who does pretty much all the cooking, and I won't get a lick in. But I do make the pudding and the Christmas cake from scratch every year. I don't know if I'll do a cake this year. With working, I'm a bit overrun, but yeah, I will try and make a pudding in time. I haven't actually made it yet, so it's going to be a bit of a last minute job.
Oh, good on him though.
Oh, he loves it.
Yeah, in our household, I'm the one who does all the Christmas lunch. How about you, Hannah? How do you and Phil manage Christmas lunch between you?
Well, last year we hosted, and so we had both sets of parents and my brother over, and we'd built our log cabin in the old garden, so that was big enough to host everybody. This year we're going over to my parents, but I've sort of thrown a spanner in the works by stopping eating meat. So the plan to have fillet steak for Christmas dinner has kind of turned into fillet steak for Phil and my parents, and some form of nut roast or veggie Wellington or something for me. So I've got to figure that one out yet. And then I think it'll be sort of steamed pudding, Christmas pudding, cheese and biscuits for pudding. So yes, this is all new. I wasn't really planning on going vegetarian. Just all of a sudden, I started feeling freaked out about eating meat, and so I was like, well, let's just go with it and see what happens. So I'm absolutely clueless. I'm like, I really need to get onto Pinterest and find some inspiration on what vegetarians eat for Christmas.
My mum's vegetarian. She's been vegetarian since I was 11, which, as you put it so eloquently, put a real spanner in the works when there's only two of you at Christmas and one of you eats meat and the other doesn't. So she luckily really likes everything else. Like she'll eat the gravy and stuff just for Christmas Day. So yeah, I don't know if she will anymore actually, but she did when I was a teenager. So we would have a Christmas dinner and she just wouldn't eat the meat.
Yeah, I'm thinking of doing something along those sorts of lines, and then maybe just having like a nut roast from the shop that can just get bunged in the oven, and then just having the trimmings but with a nut roast or something. So it'll be fine, and there's plenty of cheese for afterwards, because vegan is something I could never ever do because I love cheese too much.
Amy, you mentioned Fakemas just now, but are there any other traditions that you've built up in your family over the years?
God, how long do we have? With growing up abroad, traditions for me were really, really important because we moved house every single year till I was 16, and we moved countries multiple times. So the traditions were the things that stayed the same. So for me, every year I was almost kind of dictatorial about the fact that certain things had to be done in a certain way. So yeah, we have a lot of traditions. My personal favourite is bacon sandwiches and champagne when we put the tree up, because it was always such a treat to be able to get British bacon, because in the States and Malaysia and places you just couldn't find it. So we had to we'd freeze it as soon as we found it and it would come out at Christmas kind of thing. Yeah, just daft things like that. I don't know, just things like that, daft little things that kind of build up. Oh, my favourite one is that my mum and I always buy a new Christmas decoration that kind of represents the year. So we don't have a theme on our tree. We have a different decoration for every single year. And of course now, kind of 27 years later, there's like 27 random baubles, but they're all ones that I've either made or, like this year, she took us all to see the snowman yesterday in London. So my partner and I saw a bauble with the snowman on it, so we got her and Little Miss matching baubles to hang on their trees to remember the year and stuff. So some really, and like got ones from the States that my mum and I spent a Christmas day in Prague. So we've got one from Prague. They're from everywhere. It's a really, really special tree, my mum's. So yeah, that's my favourite.
That's really lovely.
That's really lovely.
It's one that I'm really hoping that we can do as a family, me, my partner and Little Miss as well. It's one I'm slowly already instigating. I think it's working because he went to Germany without me a week ago, for a week in November. And he surprised us that he'd bought us a Christmas bauble that had like 3 little people for our family. I was like, it's working. You're starting to pick up on the traditions.
No, and it's such a lovely thing to do for, you'll be able to share all those stories with Little Miss every year. How about you, Hannah? Any traditions?
We have started doing Christmas decorations actually since Toby was born. So on his first Christmas, we got like a giant star with his handprint in it. And we're doing something similar for Martha for this year as well. And then last year and this year, Toby's chosen a Christmas decoration from the shops. And we just kind of find a little space on it to write his name and the date. And obviously we'll do the same with Martha moving forward. So that's our little thing. Phil and I, ever since we've been together, have always had a raclette dinner on Christmas Eve. So again, that's going to be slightly different for me this year without eating meat, but obviously he'll still be able to have it, and so will Toby. And we watch Elf, because that's kind of like our final of the Christmas season movies. We end with Elf on Christmas Eve. Yeah, I think that's about it, really. I guess these things sort of develop as your family grows up a little bit.
I do love a good raclette, although oddly enough, because we always go to the Alps in summer rather than in winter, it's something that I associate with the wrong time of year. How about you, Vicky?
Yeah, some similar things really. When we put our Christmas tree up, we have smoked salmon on toast and mince pies. I always get out all the things Grace has ever made at school at Christmas. They all adorn the mantelpiece.
A typical mum.
Oh, yeah. Even the really crudely painted angel sits there. And then we, in a similar way, we look at getting different decorations each year. And we start our Christmas film watching when Grace breaks up. And then also, Ross always makes a Christmas music CD, so that when we're driving to whichever family we're going to, we have Christmas music. And the challenge is to find a different song every year. And we've managed to do it so far. We keep doing it, and there's always a surprise on there from at least one of us. So yeah, you'll see some really, if you go to Spotify, my list is on there, and there's some different things on there.
I'm looking forward to my I guess probably my favourite and longest standing Christmas tradition, which is to sit down with the Christmas Radio Times and the highlighter pen to plan out everything we're going to watch.
Yeah.
Or these days, I should say, it's actually to plan what I'm going to record and then delete unwatched 6 months later after our Skybox has filled up. Here we are now, almost at the end of 2016, and looking back on the year, it's been, what's the technical term? A bit crap. We've had Bowie and Wogan, Prince, Brexit, Trump, the list goes on. But what's been the highlight of 2016 for you? Let's start with you, Hannah, and I guess let's put the birth of Martha to one side, because I guess that's the obvious highlight.
Yes, it is indeed. I guess it's Apples and Pips has been fantastic. That's been really exciting for me, because it's not something I thought I would really do. It wasn't kind of in my plans before becoming a mum. So it's been nice to set up my own business. But really, to be honest, and it is to do with Martha's birth, but just settling into being a family of 4, because we know we're stopping at 2 children, it's really lovely to feel like everything that we do from here on in is as a completed family, and that feels really, really lovely. So amongst all of the horrors that this year has brought, there's also been things like going to parties, or we went to the Birmingham Christmas market last week, and things like that, which is doing it as a family of 4 and knowing that it's going to be us 4 together from here on in. It's a really nice feeling.
Vicky, what's been the highlight of the year for you so far?
Crikey, there's been a few actually. And I have to say, I have got a post in drafts called Stop Whining About 2016. Because all I ever hear is people saying, oh, bloody 2016. Well, the thing is, shit happens and there's nothing you can do about it. I don't know, there's been a few things. I've had quite a few surprise clients that I've worked with this year who've just been brilliant. One of them is just winding down, and that's Message in a Bottle. The people who wrote that book, I've been helping promote it for them, and it's beautiful. It's a very different personalised book, and I've really enjoyed working with them because they're so passionate about what they do. And I've had a couple of other really wonderful clients who've been really great. I've been very lucky to have a brilliant break in Ireland earlier in the year with Ross and Grace. That really made up for the first part of the year where it was a bit of a downer. So yeah, it's we've had quite a few really wonderful trips this year. So there's lots of things to look back on and think, yeah, that was good.
How about you, Amy?
It's been a really mixed year, to be honest, for our family. It started with an amazing high of me finally going back to work. We moved out of London. But there's been quite a few deaths in the family, and then my dad got married. So yeah, complete kind of swings and roundabouts for us. And then we're finishing on a bit of a high with some changes at work for me, but that's all I'm allowed to say right now. But yeah, some exciting changes coming at the very, very start of 2017 for me. So yeah.
Last question for me then. What are we each hoping that Santa will bring us for Christmas? So Hannah, how about you?
is it too cliche to ask for a good block of sleep? Because that's something I have been seriously missing. But I mean, I'm guessing that probably even Santa's going to struggle with that one. So I would just love a bit of me time, maybe go to the spa with my mum, something like that would be wonderful.
I'm willing to bet that you are not the only member of the team that asks for a good night's sleep. What about yourself, Vicky?
Well, I think mine's the obvious one. With everything we've been through this year, I'd like another member to our family, please.
We will all have our fingers crossed for you, I think.
Absolutely.
So
Amy, any thoughts from you?
Oh, I was listening to Hannah and Vicky. I forgot to think. I don't know. I mean, this is a tall order, but we've been house hunting for 6 months now. It would be really nice if kind of the dream house at the right price bracket in the right location could just kind of appear. That would be nice. But I think, as Hannah put it, that might be a bit much for Santa. So, I don't know.
There's nothing wrong with asking for something you really want.
Yeah.
You either get it or you don't.
A 64 gig iPhone would actually go down a dream. I only have 16 gigs, and I spend pretty much every single day deleting stuff because I have way too much stuff on my iPhone. So yeah, if anyone would like to send me in a 64 gig iPhone, please feel free.
That sounds like me. I'm hoping that Santa is going to bring me a 128 gig iPhone 7. So, so if you're listening, that's what I want. Well, thank you very much, ladies. I hope that Christmas brings you everything you could possibly ask for and more besides.
And you, Tim.
And to you, Tim.
yes, you too.
Next, we're swinging northwards to say hello to Mark from Best Dad I Can Be. Hi there, Mark.
Hi, Tim.
So, Mark, you are the one member of the podcast crew with grown-up kids. So are they all going to be back home for Christmas?
They are, but for the first time ever, we won't have them all together for Christmas lunch. Yeah, the elder two will both be back here, but Alex won't be here for Christmas lunch because he is working on Christmas Day. He's got a part-time job as a waiter in a hotel, and they've asked him if he can work on Christmas Day. The fact that he gets paid double time might just have persuaded him there. So he'll be off at about 11 o'clock to serve about 120 Christmas lunches, and I guess I'll pick him up about 8 or 9 o'clock that night. And I'm slightly sad about that because it'll be the first time ever that we haven't had them for Christmas lunch, but he will be here first thing in the morning. I understand his point of view, and I think this is his first job. I think he's doing this while he's doing his A-levels, and it's been fantastically good experience. So I'm not going to say don't do it. If he feels a commitment to it, then all well and good.
It's a reminder, actually, as well, isn't it, that while the vast majority of us will be spending Christmas Day as a holiday and enjoying time with family and so on, that there are people who do have to work on Christmas Day, hospital staff, emergency services.
Yeah, absolutely right, yes. All credit to him. And, I just hope he uses his double pay to buy his dad, obviously, what his dad deserves.
Oh, absolutely. Speaking of presents, parents with children within earshot might just want to cover their ears for my next question. So, can you remember how old your kids were when they discovered that Santa Claus wasn't actually real? And how did they take that news?
We were discussing whether or not we should start to tell them when Dan, who of course went on to do engineering at university, he gave up on Santa Claus at a very early age and immediately told his little sister. So my children were quite young. I can't remember how old they would be, but certainly Dan would have been no older than 7. So I guess Ellie would have been 5.5 the Christmas that Dan broke the news that all these presents from Santa were actually from Mum and Dad.
Yeah, it's funny because Isaac is 8 at the moment. He'll be 9 by the time Christmas rolls around, and I think we've been quite lucky in that he still believes or he's playing it very well and keeping the secret safe from his siblings. But we've certainly had lots of lots of questions. He's very much of a scientific engineering bent as well. So, we've had lots of questions around, how does Santa manage to fly so fast?
Yeah, and as soon as Isaac gives up on it, then you'll be trying to persuade him not to tell the other two. Innocence soon goes when you've got an elder brother or sister, I think.
So, you've been celebrating Christmas with kids for over 20 years now. So would you say that the holidays have changed much during that time? And would you say it's been for the worse or for the better?
I'm not sure that I think in our family that the nature of it has changed very much at all. We still do essentially what we did when the children were small. There's rather more alcohol involved than there was a few years ago. But I don't think it has changed too much. I guess the big difference for us is that grandparents have died over the time. My mum always used to come round to us. My father-in-law sadly died last year. So that's probably the biggest change in family life. But the nature of what we do as a family has never changed. And I really hope it never, ever does.
No, that's it, isn't it? Because I guess over the course of time, you start to build up lots of family traditions and ways of doing things, don't they? So, I mean, are there any particular traditions that have built up in your family?
We always have smoked salmon and scrambled eggs for breakfast with Bucks Fizz. We've always done that. Absolutely strictly, people take it in turns to open presents. The other thing that we do, which is a tradition that I really value, is a tradition that I inherited from my dad, is that we write clues on the presents. So it doesn't say, Dad, Happy Christmas, love from Ellie, that there's a specific clue on the present, which you are supposed to guess before you open the present.
Oh, I like that. I've never heard of anyone doing that before.
Yeah, what you've got to do is you've got to... So for example, my wife and daughter are going off to Copenhagen in January. And in the blog, I put something about them eating caramelized salmon while I'll be at home eating baked beans. So, for example, I may give my daughter a guidebook to Copenhagen as one of her smaller presents. And the clue would be something like, think of me eating baked beans while you're here. Not terribly difficult, but, just it's a really nice little touch. But, it's really good fun.
So you mentioned just now that one of your traditions was around having smoked salmon and scrambled eggs for breakfast. But who cooks Christmas dinner in your house? And, are there any special dishes or trimmings that make yours a little bit different? Okay, so my wife cooks Christmas dinner. I do the breakfast. She does the dinner because she is simply better at pulling a roast dinner together all at the same time than I am. Trimmings, no, not particularly. We always have a debate as to whether we're going to have turkey. People always say, I'm a bit fed up with turkey. We always end up eating turkey. Trimmings and things that everybody says that their favourite meal is Boxing Day when we're eating leftover turkey and leftover stuffing and things. And as I'm always up first for breakfast on Boxing Day, I always seem to end up eating turkey stuffing and those stuffing balls, and if there's any bacon sausages left in bacon, I'm always eating those for breakfast on Boxing Day. No, I thought that was just me. I love cold stuffing.
Oh, and I'll tell you what we do as well to finish off the turkey. This is a brilliant recipe. I absolutely recommend this to everybody. Is Jamie Oliver's turkey and leek pie. My kids love that, and they've always loved it. Jamie Oliver's turkey and leek pie. Just Google it and you will get the recipe.
Right, okay, I've got some quick fire questions for you now. So, Christmas films, It's a Wonderful Life or Elf?
Neither. Scrooge, starring my youngest son when he was 10 years old, and the school did it as a play, and we've got the DVD and we watch that every Christmas.
Bar humbug.
But absolutely right, yeah.
Right, Christmas specials, Strictly or Bake Off?
Probably both, I would think, given catch-up. I am embarrassed to say that I've got quite into this series of Strictly.
Advocar, Best Drunk at Christmas or Not at All?
Probably not at all. I've only drunk it once in my life, I think. That's the yellow one, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. No, Bombay Sapphire, drunk a lot at Christmas and throughout the year as well.
And how many members of the Richards family are going to be snoring on the sofa an hour after Christmas dinner?
Absolutely none at all, because Dad's got his Fitbit and we'll have to do his 10,000 steps on Christmas Day. And if somebody doesn't come on the beach with me, then I will be most upset.
That's very different to our household, where I can pretty much guarantee that I will be the first person asleep. And finally, what are you hoping that Santa's going to bring you for Christmas?
To be honest, Tim, I've reached that age where I don't mind. The fact that I've still got my kids with me, that Dan's 23, Ellie's 21, the fact that they're still here, the fact that we can still have a family Christmas. And I know that sounds a cliched answer, but everybody listening to this, by the time their children get to that age, the fact that I've got them here and we can be together as a family, I really don't care. So long as I've got that, I'm happy.
The last stop on Santa's zigzagging itinerary takes us southwest to stop in on Hayley from Downside Up. Good evening, Hayley.
Good evening, Tim. Yes, down here in the crispy southwest of Cornwall.
So, December brings a double cause for celebration in your house, as Natty has her birthday this week, doesn't she? So, just remind us all how old she'll be this year.
She certainly does. Natalia is going to be 10 on Tuesday, 10 on the 6th of December, Tim. So I have to say I find this time of year incredibly exciting and emotional, but it is a time to stop and look back and remember. And this week I've sort of caught myself thinking, this time 10 years ago, we were completely in the dark, really. We were completely in the dark. We had no idea what was about to hit the fan, I think. And how Natty was going to surprise us all in her own special way. 10 years has gone in a flash. It really has.
With less than 3 weeks between Natty's birthday and Christmas, do you find that you do anything in particular to ensure that her birthday is kept as a distinctly separate celebration and, that it doesn't become overshadowed by Christmas?
Yeah, I suppose I think we do. Although it's nice to have a Christmassy birthday, isn't it? There's the sort of music and the twinkles are all around, so it sort of adds to that. But we do try to make it quite separate. So we won't, for example, put up all the decorations until after Natty's birthday, and we make sure that birthdays are a time for balloons and cake, and it is all quite separate. So I think we do that. Joint presents are an absolute no-no in this house. We try to do things that aren't Christmassy for her birthday, and then once her birthday is over and the thank you cards have been written and the cake has been digested, then we go full into Christmas.
Now, just in case anyone listening doesn't know, Natty was born with Down syndrome. Although in most respects she's just a normal girl, isn't she? Much like any other.
She's an ordinary little girl, just like any other ordinary little girl.
So have you got any tips for celebrating Christmas with a child who does have special educational needs?
That's a fantastic question, Tim, actually. It really is a good question. I mean, Natty, as it happens, doesn't really have too much of a, for example, sensory processing issue. But some children really can't cope with too many lights or too much noise or too much change. For example, children on the autistic spectrum find Christmas quite challenging. So I know that lots of parents do have various tips for sort of dealing with that. I know some parents who just will confine Christmas decorations to one room in the house, for example, and maybe open one present per day through the Christmas holidays and things like that, so the children aren't overwhelmed. I think you need to find what fits for your child. I mean, we certainly don't go crazy at Christmas. We don't overdo things. We pace ourselves. Christmas, so often we hear, don't we, in TV adverts, and it's everywhere in the media. Oh, you've got to go for the perfect Christmas. It's always got to be perfect and the best ever. And I think my motto as a special needs parent is forget perfect, forget the best ever. Just sort of go for a Christmas where everybody has a nice time and you survive it together. And that might be a low-key Christmas where you stay at home and do a bit of baking. And it might just be the immediate family at home rather than don't overdo it, and feel that you can say no to things. I say no to lots of things at Christmas time, Tim. And really, yes, it's about pacing ourselves, I think.
Yeah, and that's really good advice, I think. It's so easy to set the bar unreasonably high and then fall short and feel that Christmas is a disappointment. Describe for us what Christmas Day is like in your house. So, when do the presents get opened? When does Christmas dinner happen? And, actually, who cooks it in your house?
Okay, well, it all depends who's staying and who's here and how many family we've got filling the house. And actually, this year we're having quite a quiet one. But generally, cooking dinner is a bit of a team effort. And I plan out the timings of it the night before, so that if I've had a snifter of a sort of a box fizz in the morning, then the timings of the veggies going on and everything is written down. I don't need to think. So normally we sort of we allocate a basting monitor, for example, which might be my mum or it might be my brother. So somebody will do all the basting, and there will be a gravy monitor. So it tends to be a group effort. Obviously, wake up early. We tend to have sausage rolls or mince pies for breakfast, nothing more than that, and presents straight in there. The kids will open stockings while we get the coffee on the go, and after that we're straight in. Santa brings sacks into the living room, so we'll sit and open. And in our house, I know many houses you dive straight in, don't you? Everyone opens presents at once, but it's my grandfather that started the tradition of literally one present at a time per person, and we go around in a circle. So opening presents takes hours in our house, but I think it's lovely. I want to watch the faces of everyone as they open the presents. And my grandfather, bless him, he passed away many years ago, but for Christmas each year he would always have a tub of Brill cream and a thing of Old Spice, and that was pretty much it, poor man. I think he got other things from us, and he would know it would be Brill cream. It was wrapped in a Brill cream shaped tin, parcel, and he would open it achingly slowly. Each little bit of sellotape would be peeled away. He'd take at least 15 minutes opening this tub of Brill cream, and the kids would be, come on, Grandad, hurry up, we want to open one of ours. So that sort of endured in our family. How about you?
Yeah, it's funny actually. Talking to Mark, he has the exact same tradition of one present at a time in strict rotation. Now, whereas with ours, with three young excitable kids, all of whom tend to be up by about 5 o'clock on Christmas morning, they have free rein to open their stockings. That's absolutely fine. And then in terms of opening their main presents, we try to enforce a one present at a time rule. The reality is that the 15 minutes that it took Grandpa in your family to open his tub of his tin of Brill cream, 15 minutes is pretty much the total time it takes the kids to open all their presents.
And there's nothing wrong with that either, is there? It's lovely, that excitement and that glee. It's just fantastic.
2016 has been quite a year for you and Natty, including an appearance in the Sally Phillips documentary, A World Without Down Syndrome. So, casting your mind back, what was it like being part of the programme, and how did it feel to finally see the finished thing on TV?
Wow, it has been an immense year, and actually I need to sit and sort of have a look and see what we have actually got up to. But that has dominated, the documentary has dominated the year. So it was a year before it aired that we had met the producer and so on and so forth, and I had done quite a bit of behind the scenes stuff as well. How did it feel seeing it? I saw it. I didn't see it on TV first. I actually went up to London to the press screening to watch it for the first time, and so nervous about that and about the reaction to it that I didn't find it emotional then, but I did when I watched it at home. I think it's a brilliant thing, and as Sally would say herself, no programme is ever perfect. There are always gaps and bits she would have liked to change or add in. the BBC had quite a lot of control over it. So it was edited in many ways to fit. But I'm immensely proud of having taken part in that, and I think Sally did an incredible job. It started a lot of conversations, some of them quite awkward. I think when you shine a light on a new area, or you try to challenge people's thinking that has become entrenched over many years, that there is quite often a strong reaction. The conversations had to be had. They were very important conversations. Once the hubbub died down, I put it that way, what has been left, and this is where we are now, Tim, is that the medical professional are really listening and showing the film as part of sort of medical student training, and reaching out to us as a community of parents to get involved in training in the way that the new screening test will be implemented, and language that's used around that. So that's all I could have ever hoped for, really. And people are asking adults with Down syndrome what their thoughts are for the first time as well, which is important. How did it feel? It felt exhausting. For about a month after the documentary came out, I couldn't really go on social media or really formulate a sentence. Just so exhausted by it all, but proud, yes. I think is how I would sum it up, Tim. It's been a game changer. It was a groundbreaking programme. There's no two ways about it. There's never been anything like it. And Sally's become a really good friend, which is another really positive outcome from it, really, to have met somebody that is quite similar to me in many, many ways. So, so it's been a very, very, very busy year for us. And most of the time I can't even remember what's happened. And each year I promise myself that the next will be quieter. And I think next year for me really will be a time when I pull away from social media and blogging and take my writing in a different direction. How about you, Tim?
Yeah, I don't know, actually. I think, 2016 it's been a big year for me in terms of moving to a new job, and so on. And, it's been a big year for the family with Carver starting school, so that now we have all three kids in the same school. It's been quite a year in terms of change, as every year, really, I think, with young children is. So, yeah, who knows what 2017 will bring?
I think politically it's been a time of great change for us all, hasn't it? And I'm just hoping that next year is one of peace, and one in which we can all sort of reach out and pull together. I don't mean just bloggers and friends like that. I mean, as a world. But I think this year has worried me in many ways. But we'll see where we go.
So finally, other than peace and unity and possibly a time machine, what are you hoping Santa will bring you for Christmas?
I honestly really don't know. When people ask me that, I just think I'm far too busy to think about what I would like. And I honestly really don't know. And I usually end up buying myself a couple of little girly, sparkly, smelly, trinkety things or whatever, and then wrapping them up from other people. It's not really about us, is it, Christmas, Tim? It's about the kids. And it sounds really cheesy, but yeah. I think a lie-in and a bit of peace and quiet and a nice, time with the children, and nobody asking me questions would be good. No questions for a couple of hours. Nobody saying "Mum" for a couple of hours would be a good Christmas present. But I can't think of anything I really want. I would love. Actually, no. Here we are. Here's the thing. If you could wave a magic wand, I would like a PA. I would like somebody to come in and organise all my inbox and just sort my life out. My office is a tip. It's boxes upon boxes and tables full of piles of papers. I want someone to organise my life, Tim.
Well, here's hoping Santa is listening to this podcast. So, Hayley, lovely talking to you as always. So have a great Christmas and a very happy birthday to Natty.
Thank you. Thank you, Tim. And to you guys too.
And that's it for the Meet the Parents podcast for 2016. I hope you've enjoyed this bumper Christmas edition, and we'll be back again for more parenting chat in the new year. In the meantime, here's where you can find us all online. So, in order of appearance, here's where you can find Dave.
So I'm at thedadventurer.com and on Twitter at @the_dadventurer.
And Amy, Hannah and Vicky.
I am findingourfeet.co.uk, and I'm on Twitter and Instagram as Finding Our Feet.
I'm on Twitter and all social media is at Budding Smiles, and my blog is at buddingsmiles.co.uk.
Okay, you can find me at Verily Victoria Vocalises. The URL is vevivos.com, and I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Vic Welton.
And if you do fancy a last bit of Christmas shopping, do check out Hannah's website, Apples and Pips.
They can find all of the beautiful products that we've got at applesandpips.co.uk.
And Mark?
And you can find me online at bestdadicanbe.com and on Twitter, where I'll be updating the amount of alcohol we're drinking over Christmas, at bestdadicanbe.
And finally, Hayley.
Yep, the blog is called Downs Side Up, so that's downsideup.com, and we're in all the usual exciting social media places like Twitter at Downs Side Up.
And I'm at Thatcham Dad, and my blog is slouchingtowardsthatcham.com. So you can download this podcast on iTunes and on Android devices, on our website at meettheparentspodcast.com, and via a variety of podcasting apps. Do please give us a follow on Twitter on @ParentsPodcast and Facebook at facebook.com/meettheparentspodcast. So thanks for listening, and do please join us again when we return in January. But from all of us, we'd like to wish all our listeners a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas, everyone!
And Merry Christmas, everyone!
Merry Christmas!
And I hope that Christmas and the New Year bring everything you would wish for you and your family.